Today, I want to discuss about one of the most pressing issues that we are all currently facing, namely the role of geopolitics in investment strategy within an uncertain global environment. This topic is so timely that in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic, as economies reopen, real problems in the supply chain started to emerge. Geopolitics focus on the shifting balance and rising tensions among nations. Trade and investment map reflects far-reaching alteration in global supply and flows of commodities. These problems force businesses to reconsider their strategies and diversify their production centers. We are going back to the old wisdom of do not put all eggs in one basket. While I will not specifically make a reference to a specific countries, I will highlight the generic discussions surrounding the current international investment climate, strategies, and possible methods which can help move forward the decision-making process in global investment. But first of all, why geopolitics? We need to talk about geopolitics to understand what is currently going on around us and why it has influenced our behavior. So much is unfamiliar about the current situation brought about by the pandemics that it hasn't been easy making sense of what is going on. Uncertainties linger everywhere. We are living in a world that is in danger of becoming more divided and polarized by the day. This is a world which has a sharper sense of us and them. The pandemic could have been used to intensify global cooperation. Surprisingly, that was not the case. The pandemic has not brought the world closer. More broadly, borders go up, nationalism and protectionism rise, and the generally free movement of people become less free. Little was done to protect the poorest countries from the harsh economic impact of lockdowns, or help them fix the issues surrounding uneven vaccine distribution, for example. International and regional cooperation has not become easier, and in many cases, many states have developed a greater sense of distrust toward certain others. This situation narrows down possible opportunities for solving problems that are free of certain interests. Fanaticism and dogmas have become more commonplace. In some cases, to say even a good things about the other side is a political taboo. And in some conversation, they merely hear but do not listen. People tend to only want to hear what they believe. Intellectual debate often only fan the flames of discontent and distrust. Certainly, that is the kind of world we are live in right now. It happened in almost every part of our daily life. Investment, the global investment climate, and their business practice are no exception. Geopolitics influences the flow of capital and factors of production, changing the way supply chains flow and interact. Take a look at this. The Chinese have stopped buying Australian wines due to the accusation of dishonesty about the origin of the COVID-19 virus. And then Russia is reconsidering its gas supply to Europe after criticism was leveled about their affairs in Ukraine. The trade war, or trade tension in softer term, between US and China resulted in the relocation of companies from China to ASEAN countries. Russia is pivoting to the east, to China, for reasons so obvious. China needs energy, and Russia needs markets, etc., etc. All these issues show that geopolitics have played a significant role in the movement of production factors among countries. So, what are the root causes of this problem? The main culprit is the ongoing heating rivalry between the two dominant forces in global business, between the number one and the number two, between the US and China. The COVID-19 pandemic has merely exacerbated. So, take a look. America and increasingly China account for 76 of the world's 100 most valuable firms today. Europe tally has fallen from 41 in 2000 to 15 today. Of the 19 firms created in the past 25 years that are now worth over $100 billion, 9 of them are in America and 8 are in China. Europe has none. The pandemic has seen a burst of energy in America and China and a boom in fundraising. Firms from the two countries even dominate new frontiers of technology such as fintech and electric cars. Another way of explaining the dominance of America and China is to compare their share of global output with their share of global business activities. Actually, the two countries are more integrated economically and more independent than they recognize. And they are mutually dependent on global prosperity. But in reality, their relationship is accompanied by growing mistrust that resulted in greater tension. And yet, we all know that nobody in their right mind want to voluntarily relinquish their position as the number one and offer that power to another so casually. This rivalry triggers conflicts and tensions that characterize the geopolitics of global investment. The danger is that many analysts see America as continuing to drift toward protectionism, and their recent policies on industrial and taxes are considered dampening business activities. Also, they are giving more attention to Indo-Pacific region to counter China's increasing dominance in the area. In China, President Xi Jinping sees big private firms as a threat to the Communist Party power and grip on society. His message to the big tech was rung loud and clear. No one is bigger than the government. The more America and China intervene, the more conflict it creates, the more the rest of the world should be ready and anticipate about the changing nature of the geography of global business. In theory, for business, it doesn't matter. Profit knows no nationality. As long as they sell competitive product and create jobs, who cares? But if they are swayed by governments at home, the business dynamic changes. So, ladies and gentlemen, what to do next? What are the strategies that can help international investment decision-making process move forward? There are 3 things at least. First is definitely to reconsider the act of relocation. ASEAN countries such as Vietnam, Thailand, and Indonesia have welcomed and relocated production factories from China and have enjoyed the benefits of doing so. By offering sound and competitive policy environment, these countries will continue to reap benefits of the US-China trade war and the further rearrangement of global value chains as a result of the geopolitics taking place. Second, there should be more champions to break this duopoly. The world is too big to be dominated by just 2 economies. The rest of the world, other than the US and China, should continue its effort to emerge as economic champions instead of admitting defeat and putting up barricades preventing them to do so or accommodating the geopolitical play itself. Europe ambitions to become a regulatory superpower by regulating everything might lead them to more protectionist policies. In one hand, to assert their sovereignty, India has begun to ban Chinese social media and has hobbled American e-commerce firms operating in the country. But on the other hand, this can deprive local consumers from access to global innovation and will only create harder barriers that would prevent local firms from achieving the scale and functioning necessary to become part of the global value chains. Lastly, the third strategy is yet another old saying: if you can't beat them, join them both. In other words, other economies must make themselves indispensable to both China and the US. Take Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, or TSMC, for example. The firm controls 84% of the global chip market and is the main supplier for the world's largest tech companies, including Apple and Alibaba. So the TSMC keep their production process inside the country to prevent foreign intervention. Most of its long-term assets reside in Taiwan, and its experts are also based locally. Yes, diplomatically, the firm has managed to sway both America and China, offering to invest more in production lines based in both countries, such as in China, Nanjing, and later in the US, in Arizona, the largest foreign direct investment in American history, a 40 billion new factory there. However, the chips produced at these outlying centers will likely not match the cutting-edge quality of the goods produced at similar facilities in Taiwan. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's all that I can share today. Thank you very much.